The morning light slanted through the tall glass windows of Havenshire Towers, painting the marble floor in pale gold. The building smelled faintly of lemon polish and coffee, two scents that always reminded Isaac Rowe that another long day was beginning. He wasn't one to complain. For 15 years, Isaac had worked as a janitor in this place, one of those faces people saw every day, but never truly noticed. He liked it that way. His quiet broom strokes had rhythm, almost like a hum. He found comfort in silence. It never judged, never asked questions. But that morning, silence broke with a crash. Boxes tumbled near the lobby's revolving door, scattering papers like startled birds. A soft groan followed. Isaac turned and saw a woman kneeling on the floor, struggling to collect loose documents. She wore a beige trench coat, and her long dark hair was slightly damp from the misty morning. One of her heels had snapped. Without hesitation, Isaac left his cart and hurried over. "Here, let me help," he said, kneeling beside her. "Oh no, please don't trouble yourself," she replied, voice trembling slightly. "It's no trouble," he said, already lifting one of the heavy boxes. "These look like they belong in an archive, not in your arms." She smiled faintly. "You could say they're part of an old story I'm trying to rewrite." Isaac chuckled softly. "Aren't we all?" The elevator dinged. She pressed the button for the top floor, the level reserved for the company's executives and board members. He hesitated. "I can't go up there," he said. "Policy." "It's all right," she said quietly. "They won't stop you." To his surprise, the security guard at the desk simply nodded them through, offering the woman a respectful glance. Isaac noticed but didn't ask. He just followed her, pushing the box-laden trolley into the elevator. The ride-up was silent except for the soft hum of the lift. He studied her reflection in the mirrored wall, calm, but her eyes carried exhaustion. Like someone who hadn't slept in years, not because of work, but because of regret. "First day?" he asked finally. She nodded. "First day of trying to fix something broken." He smiled. "Then it's a brave one." When the elevator opened, the air felt different, cooler, expensive. Plush carpets, dark wood, and the faint smell of cologne that only rich men wore. "Right here is fine," she said, "by the corner office." He placed the boxes down gently. "All set." "Thank you," she said, meeting his eyes. "Truly." "No need for that, miss," he said with a polite nod. "Just doing what anyone would." She smiled at that, a real smile this time, the kind that looks like it's been hiding behind years of sorrow. "Not anyone," she murmured. He started to turn away when she added softly, "Thank you, Mr. Rowe." He froze. He hadn't introduced himself. He wasn't even wearing a badge. Before he could ask how she knew, the elevator doors closed behind him, taking her away. Back in the maintenance room, Isaac tried to shake it off. Maybe she'd seen his name on a schedule or overheard someone call him earlier. Still, something about her stayed with him, the sadness in her eyes. The way she said, "Fix something broken." A few hours later, as he polished the glass doors near the lobby, the receptionist's chatter drifted over. "She came back after 10 years, one whispered. "Are you sure it's her?" another asked. "Positive, she looks just like her mother." "I thought she cut ties after the will." Apparently, the board agreed to see her again. Isaac frowned, pausing mid-swipe. "Who are you talking about?" he asked gently. The younger receptionist glanced around before whispering, "Lydia Marin, the old chairman's daughter. She vanished after her mother's death and her father's remarriage. No one thought she'd return." Isaac's heart skipped. Lydia Marin. The name from headlines, from rumors, whispered by janitors and drivers for years. The billionaire's estranged daughter, back after a decade, and he'd just carried her boxes. That evening, while locking up, he saw her again outside the building. She was standing in the drizzle, her coat clinging to her frame, gazing up at the tower as if seeing it for the first time. Isaac hesitated, then stepped forward. "Forgot your umbrella, Miss Marin." She turned, startled, then smiled faintly. "You know my name now." He nodded. "Seems like the building talks more than I do." She let out a soft laugh, one that sounded like it surprised her. "You helped me earlier. I didn't even thank you properly." "You did," he said. "But if you feel like saying it again, I'll still take it kindly." Her eyes softened. "Would you have helped me if you knew who I was?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Names don't change who's struggling with a box." Her lips parted, but no words came out. She just nodded slowly. "I wish more people thought like that." Before she left, she handed him a folded piece of paper. When she was gone, Isaac opened it under the streetlight. "Some things are heavier than boxes. Thank you for carrying both. LM." He tucked the note into his jacket pocket, his chest heavy with something unnameable. He didn't know it yet, but that small act of kindness had just opened the door to a story neither of them saw coming. The next morning, the building buzzed with quiet tension. People whispered in corners. Executives who normally walked with confidence now seemed unsure of their steps. Something was shifting upstairs. Isaac arrived early as always, his mop bucket gliding softly across the marble. But before he could start, the elevator doors opened and out stepped Lydia Marin. She wasn't carrying boxes this time. Instead, she held a small leather envelope. In her hands, her posture calm, but her eyes glimmering with something between fear and peace. "Mr. Rowe," she said softly, "do you have a moment?" He nodded. "Of course." She motioned for him to follow her to the garden terrace, a quiet corner usually reserved for executives. The air smelled of rain and jasmine. The city shimmered below them, distant and dreamlike. "I wanted to thank you properly," she began, her voice trembling. "Yesterday, it meant more than you know." Isaac smiled faintly. "It was just a box." She shook her head. "No, it was a memory." He frowned slightly. "A memory." Lydia took a breath, eyes fixed on the skyline. "My father built this company, but after my mother died, everything turned into a battle money, power, inheritance. I left. I told myself I'd never come back. But recently, he passed away, and I discovered letters he'd written to me, letters he never sent." Her voice broke, but she steadied it. "He said he regretted losing me, that he hoped someone, someday, would help me see the world through kindness again." She looked at Isaac now, tears gathering. "Yesterday you did exactly that. You didn't see a billionaire's daughter. You saw a person." Isaac didn't know what to say. He'd spent most of his life being unseen, and yet somehow his small act had seen through her walls. "I found this," she continued, handing him the envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper, an offer letter. He blinked. "Miss Marin, this is a promotion," she said with a small smile. "You've worked here longer than most of the managers. I want you to oversee the new outreach program, cleaning, maintenance, everything. Fair pay, better hours." He looked at her, stunned. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep being the man who helps others even when no one's watching." For the first time in years, Isaac felt something bloom quietly inside him, Not pride, but purpose. As she turned to leave, he said softly, "Miss Marin." She paused. "I think your father would be proud," he said. Her lips trembled. "Maybe, but today I think he'd be thankful for you." They stood there for a quiet moment, two strangers who had carried each other's invisible burdens, one through kindness, the other through forgiveness. As she walked away, Isaac looked down at the paper again, then at his reflection in the glass door. Sometimes, he thought, the world doesn't reward kindness with money, it rewards it with meaning. And for the first time in years, he felt seen.